FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And this is a band that's no stranger to The Dark. And in fact, our guest tonight, Jenny Mann from the band Blameshift, no stranger to our interviews, as we had a chance to talk to her about a year and a half ago. It was in December of 2015. I thought it'd be a great time to get her back on, find out what's happening with the band. And first of all, Jenny, welcome back to The Dark. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, let's get caught up on what's going on with the band right now. And, of course, the last time we chatted, you were just finishing up a tour with Shallow Side, and kind of things were getting wound down for the year, and you were going to get out on tour in 2016 and do a lot more. What happened, I guess, in 16 for you guys?
Well, in 2016, we again did a lot of touring. We did an awesome tour with a band called New Year's Day, female-fronted band from LA, and that was a really, really fun tour for us. We went all the way out to the West Coast on that tour, and we released a new album, and a lot of stuff went on. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned New Year's Day, and we've had a chance to talk with Ashley and that. And I know in the interview that we had done before, we talked about the female-fronted scene, the female lead singer front. How has that been? And as the years have gone on now, we had talked about it was kind of starting to catch on again, become something big, and now it has blown up to be huge. You're noticing a lot of the bands currently in the top 50 are female-fronted bands. What's your take on the current status of that?
I mean, I think it's awesome. I've been, a real, cheerleader for that for obviously a long time. And when we first started, there really wasn't a whole lot of female-fronted bands in the scene. And I always, I never really understood why 100%. And, I always just thought that that's what the scene needed. There's a million male-fronted rock bands. Why can't there be, everyone always said, if you're a female-fronted rock band, you're either Paramore or Evanescence. And it was I never understood why there couldn't be, more than just a few, And it's really nice to see that finally it's coming around. And I knew it would happen eventually because, there's so many talented females out there doing really awesome stuff. So I'm just glad that it finally is changing,
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think the female-fronted artist is getting their due finally on major rock stations, too. It's not just, like we had talked about a year and a half ago, it's not just a gimmick anymore. It's something that's more than that.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And I never, believed it was a gimmick, but a lot of people did, especially in the rock world, you know. It's nice that finally, there's just so much talent that I never understood why it couldn't just be spread out, And as many male-fronted bands, there should be as many female-fronted bands. So yeah, it's awesome.
How about Blameshift? How have rock radio received you guys here over the past year and a half? I know when you had came to us or we had gotten to some of your music, it was something that was kind of new, at least for us. Has it really kind of swept across America now and people know who you are?
Yeah, I mean, we released our album Heart of Stone, and we Tell Me It's All Right went to radio, and it did really well. We charted at I think the highest we got was 24, but that was the first time we ever charted on radio, and it was really something impressive for us. And we actually have another song that we will be going to radio with this summer. So it's a song that we just released our music video for. So the song's called Monster.
Yes.
But we will be taking that to radio this summer. So we're very excited about that.
Well, the cool thing is we kind of beat you to the punch here. I actually asked him if I could get it, and he sent it to me right away. So we've been spinning it on our airwaves here for the last month or so, and I'm digging this. And I just, like I said, you just said the video just came out. Had a chance to see that too, and I think you guys have another chance to have a good hit here, make it maybe finally into the top 20, which is where you'd love to be.
Oh, of course. Yep. Yeah, I think so. The video's done really well so far. I have over 100,000 views on it. It's those are all milestones that any band gets excited about, and we're just planning on if we want to go to radio with something like that, how obviously the industry. It's not the easiest thing. You have to really have a plan of attack and really hit it hard to have the right song. So, we're gonna put a lot of effort into it, and when we're ready, we'll take it to radio and see how it does.
Let me ask you this question. I haven't asked this question, I guess, any artist. How important is it when you put out a single to also have a video with it? I mean, it almost seems like it goes hand in hand, but is it very important for it to have a visual behind that music?
Yeah, I think so, and I've actually spoken about this with Tim a bunch. I think that it's the most important thing you can do with a single is put out a single and put out a video for that single, because it's just like you said, the visual really just seals the deal, and it makes the song memorable. You remember, it like kind of just puts the whole story together,
right?
And like for us, when we released Ghost. We did a music video for it, and that song became the song that we were known for. And then we released Secrets, and we put a music video out, and then that was the song we were known for. And now this, so the same thing now with Monster. So I think that it's really important for bands to do that, and it gives the fans they want to see who you are, they want to understand the story of the song, and we actually were talking about going forward, just instead of putting out albums, putting out singles and putting out videos for every single. And
right.
Kind of like doing it like a little bit different, because that's at the end of the day, that's what people want. They want that single, and they want to see a video. So.
Well, it's old school. I mean, I'm in the era of growing up with MTV. You mentioned Pin. Obviously, he was there. I mean, that's what they grew up with. That's you brought a single. It went to MTV, and it all of a sudden that blew up. It wasn't necessarily what was on the radio at the time. It was the visual of seeing that.
Yep, exactly.
That's correct.
Exactly, yeah, and I think that's kind of that's like the way it's going, especially now that there is no MTV or anything like that. So like YouTube is like every band's best friend, and that's where we all go to kind of get tell our story, and so yeah.
How do you?
Yeah, it's a very good question.
How do you actually muddle through the social media and to get discovered? Because there's so many people doing it now. I sit here and not only do this show at night, but also I sell advertising, and I tell people everybody's got they're looking for stuff, but to try to find your way through it sometimes is just a nightmare. How does an artist muddle their way through the social media so they get seen? It
is very overwhelming, and I'm sure if you ask almost any band, they'll say the same thing. It's a little like at this point and where social media is, it's like almost you have to be so active, and a lot of times for artists, we're not like the most like outgoing people in the world. You know what I mean? We're more like, I don't know. It just seems like there's so much that needs to be done on a consistent basis. You have to post here, post there, boost this. It's hard. It's definitely hard. I mean, for us, I think that how we got to where we are was just from touring.
Right.
We just did the whole grinding it out on the road for 300 days a year, and that's how we built our loyalty. And I don't know, for bands that are like coming up now with just social media without the touring, I don't know how diehard you can really create a fan base that way. But,
right.
I'm also not part of that, like, the high school kid kind of mentality. Where
I'll just ask my daughters. I'll ask my daughters because they're almost getting to that. They're in the middle school era now, so I'll ask them and see how. I know Snapchat's a big thing now. I'm like, what the heck is that? You got to have that. So
Snapchat actually is awesome. I have to say, it's a lot of fun. You should get on it.
I am on it. I'm on it. My wife tells me you need to be on it because you need to know what boys are talking to your daughter. But I'm like, well, I don't. You can deal with that, okay? I mean, that's your problem. But
that's hilarious.
I know.
Yeah,
hey.
No, it's like Snapchat, I have to say, is fun.
Right.
It's the stupid filters and everything like that. But it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Just, like keeping up with social media and keeping up with there's always something new, and it takes a lot of work.
Well, I'm old school. I'm old school, I guess. So I enjoy doing the interviews, and I enjoy going to concerts. And you mentioned about the touring. I think that is huge. And it seems like over the last couple of years that I've noticed, the touring has definitely picked up in the rock industry even more, and clubs are letting rock bands come in and play. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, definitely. I think that they see that there's a market for it. I mean, just for instance, like in our town, which is Long Island, which is a huge market, but there's really not many places to play. But I know just from being out on the road and being in every small town around the country that definitely like a lot of the smaller markets, they're like jumping on the bandwagon of, we could bring in a rock band and
Right.
maybe bring in 100 people, and that's awesome for a night, to make money, bar sales and all that kind of stuff, ticket sales and everything. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that a lot of venues are coming around. I wish that this market would come around, but there's just so much music here,
Right.
and there's so much diversity, and there's so many people that it's kind of a hard place to be. That's why we get out of here. We tour anywhere we can besides New York.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We're talking to Jenny Mann, the lead singer of the band Blameshift. Their latest song is called Monster, which we're playing right now, which she said that they're going to be releasing it nationwide here eventually. Hey, you mentioned the touring that, and have you had a chance to come up to Minnesota? I know the last time we talked, you went to the Mall of America to visit. Have you been back to tour here at all?
We have not been back since then, but we did after we went there. We also went to an Indian reserve, a casino there.
Oh.
I forget what it's called. I wish I could remember, but we had so much fun.
You probably went down to
really
Mystic Lake Casino or Treasure Island Casino. One of those two, yeah.
Mystic Lake.
Mystic Lake,
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, we had a good time.
That's
it was
cool.
a lot of fun.
Well, we got to get you up to Minnesota.
I know. This summer, definitely.
Okay.
We got a lot of plans. Nothing I can release yet, but we have a lot of plans.
I was just going to ask, can you tell us, Jenny? But you can't. I get you. It's always we can't release it yet, but you can check out on your social media, and then you'll find out, right?
Yeah, soon we'll be releasing some dates. So
yeah, exactly. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about the band Blameshift and kind of what's happening for the year 2017. You mentioned the song Monster going to be released nationwide here eventually. You got the video that just came out. You've also your album Heart of Stone is out right now too, and some touring. What did I miss there? What else is coming up for you guys?
You pretty much hit it. Definitely releasing Monster to radio and doing a lot of touring coming up, this summer, and looking forward, to that. And there's a possibility we'll do either another video for another song off Heart of Stone, and then also we're writing for a new album. So. There's a lot of stuff we're working on. Okay. I'm going to pick your brain here, and I know you're a big fan of The Used, right? You're a huge fan of The Used? Yeah.
Any chance of you going on tour with them?
Oh, my God, I wish.
Okay, I was just seeing if you'd maybe slip up or something.
We had an opportunity to go out with them a couple of years ago, and
right.
We had already been on a tour. We already had plans to be on a different tour, and we weren't going to leave that tour to do this, but I wish we would have. Actually, one of our friends' bands did it. They said it was like awesome. They did a couple of dates on the West Coast with The Used, and we haven't had the chance to play with them yet, but that's one of our dream bands to tour with for sure. Well,
another band I know that you talked about too when we had the last time the interview was Jacoby Shaddix and Papa Roach, which currently has the #1 song in active rock right now. That's pretty cool for that band too, isn't it?
Yeah, they're so awesome. We got to see them play probably like a year and a half ago. They came through Long Island, and Jacoby's so awesome. He's a really great personality and fun guy to hang out with, and their music they just keep writing like hits. It's just amazing. It's so amazing to see a band that can just write hit after hit. It's very impressive, and just their longevity and how there's just so many bands that just don't make it because they just can't keep it together, and they're just an example of a band that's just like kind of stood the test of time. So yeah, they're definitely one of my favorites.
Hey, let's talk about that. I mean, obviously you and Tim are together, the rest of the guys are together. How has that relationship been? You mentioned the test of time. It takes time, and there's obviously growing pains that go along, but and doing a lot of touring, it means you're in a lot of tight situations. How has that been, I guess, with the band overall?
I mean, we've definitely had our fair share of, we've been to many members that wanted to tour, thought that it was glamorous, thought that was the life that they wanted. Once they got on the road for 200, 300 days a year, realized that it really wasn't exactly what they had envisioned. It's not glamorous, even for the big bands. Even for the really big bands, it's not. They're not making the money you think they are. They're not there's so much stress that comes with living on the road and being away from home and being away from family and living on a tight budget and living in a small space and all that kind of stuff. But you have to love it. And luckily, for me and Tim have been, we've been like the rock in Blameshift
Right.
from the beginning. And, which is, I feel very lucky because I know a lot of bands that there's only one person that's like really dedicated to the project, and everybody, and at least, we have two people that are, we were the heart of this band. And we also are lucky enough, we've been lucky enough to have found two other members that are like just so dedicated and just like the best musicians we've ever worked with, Mike and Jeff. And
Right.
they're so amazing. And I can really say, like, it's like you've been through, it's like, when you've been through all these bad relationships kind of thing, and then you finally in a good one, you like look back and you're like, oh, that was all just learning. And,
Right.
that got me to where I am. And it's the exact same thing. Like we had all these like trials and tribulations, and now we have like just the most awesome, strongest band. So,
Sure.
it was all worth it.
Yeah, the music industry isn't the easiest thing. Everybody thinks, oh, you're a rock star, so you're doing just fun stuff every night. That's not the case, is it?
It's, what, there's a lot of fun. There really is.
Yeah.
There's so much fun to be had, but there's also so much, you're a tour, you don't have a home base, besides your bus. It's just, everything is like, it's like survival mode. That's what it's all about. It's just surviving, eating, sleeping, finding, a safe place to sleep and getting to the next venue, getting in and being on time. And there's just so many like little things that like fans don't really get to see.
Right.
But when you get on stage at night, everything was worth it. Whatever you went through, breakdowns, anything that happened during that day, you let that out on the stage, and that's like the payoff. So that's why we all continue to do it.
Right, exactly. We're talking to Jenny Mann from the band Blameshift. Jenny, I know you got to get going here shortly. Let's open it up to you for a moment. And what would you like to say to the fellow listeners out there, or maybe some possibility of new fans for the band Blameshift?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you spinning us and always supporting us. And, it's stations like you guys that allow bands like us to spread our music and spread what we love and get it to the people. Because, there's a lot of stations out there that don't support, up-and-coming bands, and they only play whatever at the top, They don't give other bands a shot. And I feel like that's, with you and a lot of other, radio stations that we have met, throughout the years, we appreciate, that you guys kind of go out on a limb for independent bands, and that's awesome. So thank you to you and to all the listeners who obviously are the same kind of people because they listen to your station and support, all kinds of rock bands, which is awesome. So thank you for that. Besides that, if you check us out on Facebook and, check out our new music, YouTube, and all that kind of stuff, Monsters Out, and let us know what you think. And, furthermore, Tim and I have a new business that we kind of created out of Blameshift, out of, like, music and just the love for music. We created a jewelry line called Strung, and we've been really pushing that hard. And, we would love everyone to check that out online. It's at Strung Official. And we have all music-inspired jewelry made from guitar strings. So it's kind of been our little love child, and it's been going awesome.
That's got to be really cool. And, especially a perfect time. It's Mother's Day coming up here. Wouldn't that be a perfect gift for Mom?
I know, it is a perfect gift. And we have charms that say Band Mom that we just released it last night, and we've been selling them like crazy today.
Nice.
Because, even more, I was telling, me and Tim were joking around because it's not even when I got designed these Band Mom charms. I was thinking even more like the moms, not like my mom, but like the moms that like support us out on the road. Like
Right.
all these like ladies that come down, they get us food, they get us hotels, they take care of us. They're our moms out on the road moms, and like that. This is like the charm for them to like appreciate them and say thank you. So
awesome. And obviously you love music too, but you're trying to be an entrepreneur too and make some dollars too, right?
Yeah, you have to. Just like Jacoby has his clothing line, and almost every artist has like a side project because, first of all, there's a lot of art to be shared, but
right.
also, it's hard out there making a living doing music. So everyone kind of comes up with little things they can do on the side, and our little thing that we chose to do on the side has turned into something much bigger, and so we're very lucky to.
That is awesome.
We're lucky for that. We're very excited for the future of Strong and to see where it takes us.
Very cool. We could sit here and talk forever, but I know the fans out there probably want to hear some music too. And I tell you what, I would love to have you guys come to Little Falls, Minnesota sometime here in the near future, and so you can be here to greet your fans and play for them too. I think can we make that happen?
We could definitely make that happen. Let's make that happen maybe late summer. We'll come, we'll do a, meet and greet, play some acoustic songs, and that would be awesome.
Let's do that. We're going to do that. And we got some local venues here now that are starting to pick up bands like yourself, so it'd be perfect. I think we could make that happen, okay?
Awesome.
Hey,
sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to play your latest song, Monster, right now. You okay with that?
I think that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Once again, that is Jenny Mann. She's from the band Blameshift. Their latest song is called Monster. You're hearing it right now where you always hear the new rock first. It's The Dark. It's FM 94.